Thank you very much for joining our webinar on the Race Dental Customer Portal. We're extremely proud of this tool that we've been in development with for basically the last 12 months. We released it out to the market October last year, and it's something that we foresee is going to be invaluable in terms of how we communicate with our clinicians and improve the relationship between us. And from there, it's actually something that we've brought on a development team as well in-house with Race Dental, and we're going to be taking your feedback along this journey and continue to improve it as to best suit your needs. So in terms of accessing the Race Dental Customer Portal, the first thing that we actually do is we navigate to the Race Dental website, racedental.com.au. From there, we have up the top, we have Customer Portal Login, which will redirect us towards the login portal for Race Dental. Now, with your email that you would have received for the invitation for this webinar, you will have received your login to follow along with this demonstration. The username that we can all log in with together is C000-21576-portal. Now, all usernames will have this format, which is essentially your account number for your doctor's account. Then it will have a hyphen and followed by the surname of the doctor in charge of the account. If you are yet to log into your account for the first time, your doctor's account, please get in contact with us, and we have a dedicated portal support team with us all business hours to essentially help you get on and resolve any queries that you might have. For this demonstration account, our password is just portal, P-O-R-T-A-L. Now, if this was your usual account, I would highly recommend that you save the details. For this demonstration account, it's probably not as relevant. So feel free just to hit save or don't save, depending on whether it's your primary account. Now, just a little bit about the portal. One of the main reasons that we went down this avenue of actually taking a front-end system that our clinicians can communicate with us is to resolve a few key issues that we were having and some changing requirements in the dental industry. First of all, with a traditional lab form, once that lab form reaches the lab, what we were finding is, well, first of all, they go through a range of wet locations, which has the potential to distort the legal prescription that we then use to manufacture a important custom-made medical device. Then it has to go through a team of people who would try to interpret various handwritings to best understand the requirement of what we need to be producing for our clinicians. And lastly, when you look at the changing requirements of the TGA from a custom-made medical devices perspective, they've recently transitioned from all lab products being classified as custom-made to patient matching devices. And through that transition, one of the requirements is they want to see a comprehensive documentation in all prescriptions that a lab would receive to be able to legally produce the device that we would then supply back to yourself. That level of compliance is something that's important for us and clinicians alike. On the other side of the coin, we have the Australian privacy principles, which I will refer to as the APPs through this demonstration, which is essentially Australia's standard of the HIPAA compliance. Now, with the privacy element, what we actually see there is regulation encouraging us to limit the amount of collection of data to comply with those regulations. So we've got these two sides of regulation which really don't gel well together. And with this tool, we're enabling our clinicians to be able to comply with both the privacy aspect, and also comply with TGA requirements for us to securely collect the information required to produce your medical devices. So it's been a lot of work, and as I said, we're very proud of it. And yeah, we'll continue on with the demonstration of how this can best serve you guys in terms of using this tool. So once you've logged into your account, a bit of admin first. The first thing we definitely recommend you do is come down to settings and reset password. So obviously, please no one do this on your demo account, otherwise future attendees won't be able to use this account. So once you come into your doctor's account, it's a simple case of current password, new password, retype password. Now with your account structure, accounts are set up so it is one doctor per account. We do this both from a security and compliance reason. If we have multiple doctors sharing the one account, that does not comply with the TGA regulations in terms of producing a patient-matched medical device. So every single time you go to log in, it will be on a doctor's basis. Once you touch base with the portal support team, we'll provide you all the logins of all your clinicians. And once you put those into your admin computers, you can then save your multiple logins, and it's quite quick to jump between the operators. All right, so once we've sort of updated our passwords, I do encourage everyone to jump into the account settings and just run your eyes over the settings in your portal account and make sure all the details are correct. We use these to make sure your medical devices go to the correct location and make sure that all the billing is as required for your clinic. The email that's listed against your account here is the email that we communicate important production items against. So if we ever have a case that goes on hold, or we have any issues that might happen through the production process where we need some additional information for you, we'll always contact you on this address here. So we please ask that special attention is given here and that the most appropriate person in your clinic is listed here for us to be able to communicate with and just minimize any downtimes that we could incur through the production process. All right, now, the most powerful aspect of the portal is being able to manage all of your cases in one location. So if you mouse over to cases and then come to view cases, what we see here is a list of all the cases that are listed against this account. This account is just our demo account, so it's obviously not too impressive here, but we obviously have accounts with thousands of cases. All of them would be listed here. It's not a selection of the last few weeks. It's all your historical information, which is obviously very valuable from a record-keeping perspective as well. Now, in terms of actually filtering through this, we've got a few ways that we can do this. What we have is our case number, which will actually match the invoice number when you receive your invoice from us and the device. We have the option to then sort our list through the status that the cases sit on. So if we were producing these cases currently, obviously they're going to sit in production. In this example here, we've got both items sitting in production, these two test cases. We can view any cases that are sitting on hold. So in this situation, we have no cases on hold. This is obviously how we intend to keep this the majority of the time. A daily check for your practice manager would be brilliant for them to jump on and just check the on hold status. Now, we will be communicating with you both through traditional mediums and the portal if you ever had a case that went on hold. But it always helps to proactively look through here and go, all right, is there anything that our lab needs from you guys to be able to then move forward with the production? And the other main two statuses would be invoice, indicating that we've then finished the job and dispatched it to your clinic. And finally, submitted. So this is a status that your cases will sit in should they be lodged through the portal, but Race Dental hasn't yet received it. So basically a case in transit is the best way to think about that. All right, so coming back to all cases, so you can see two of these test cases. Simply, patient name is a filter that we can use to quickly search patient names. Something important to note is even though the patient names would fall under the bracket of patient details in terms of a privacy component, this is not a cloud system. Now, this means that the data that is collected is not held in offsite servers or anything like that. It's all stored here at Race Dental in Castle Hill in Sydney, Australia. That means that we have complete control over the security and storage of the data, and it does comply with all of the requirements of the APPs. Addresses, this would be the shipping address that we would be sending the cases. Naturally, as this is a account for a doctor, you would expect all your addresses to be the same. Date in is simply the date that the cases have been received by Race Dental. Invoice date would be the date that we've invoiced and dispatched it. And requested return date indicates the date that the clinic has nominated that they need the case back by. Lastly, and this is one of the items that we have recently developed, is our shipment date. This is the date that we are planning to send the case out, or if it is a date in the past, it is the date that we have shipped it out. So in this situation with both of these two test cases, which are sitting in production, we've said that the top one will be dispatching on the 24th and the second one will be dispatching on the 26th. And our doctor's name, Dr. Portal Workshop Demo. So from this case management tool, what this allows you to do is view all your cases in a snapshot, be able to filter for any specific cases, resolve any issues should there be any, and also update important information regarding cases. So if we come over and hit this little, I guess you could call it a hamburger symbol, it kind of looks like that. We've got a few additional options here as well. So the most powerful function here is new inquiry. So if we select a new inquiry on this test case, we're greeted with this window here. Now, what we're doing is we're submitting a portal inquiry. So this is our only option. And then the description is some preloaded topics of what we might be wanting to discuss on this case. So there could be an accounting request if we feel like there could have been some sort of issue or mistake with the billing side of things. Additional case info, changing the appointment date is very useful for the lab. Other, if there's nothing else that the others fall into, we can request a general callback, so just an admin call, maybe fixing up an address or maybe a spelling of a patient name. We could request a technical call, so our technicians can give you a call back to discuss the actual process of manufacturing the device, and we can request an RX change. It's very important to realize that once we submit a case through the portal, the RX is locked. We can't change it, and that's on purpose. It's a medical prescription, and we do not want to be able to change it unless authorized by the clinic. So what this request RX change does is it sends a message through to our center which says, Dr. Demo requests to change this RX from, let's say, change shade of crown to A2. And we'll send that query off. Inquiry successfully saved. So what happens is that request is received by our customer service team. They'll review the case and look at what stage of production that it is in. Obviously, if it's being finished by the technicians, then we will need to work out the best way that we can address that shade change, and we may need to address the dispatch date as well. But the most important thing is, traditionally, this sort of change in RX would be a phone call, which then often means that there is no paper trail that exists between the lab and the clinic, which now means there is no documented change to the RX, which is required by the TGA for your custom-made medical device prescription. So now that we've sent our message through, we get a speech bubble showing up next to our case, indicating that there's a conversation between the lab and the clinic. So if we open this one up, we can see our message here, request to change RX. change shade of crown to A2. Now, once our team receive that, we'll address that, and we'll address it in production, and we'll send you a message back, and we'll say, great news, we've been able to update the shade of this case to A2, no change to dispatch date. Now, that message is typically something that our team would email through to the clinic. Now, it might come as a surprise, but email actually isn't compliant with privacy either. So what we've migrated to is sending all of our patient detail messages through the portal. So once we respond to your query, the response will be held on the portal, and you'll receive an email to the same email that we've looked at in the account settings, which says case number 783862 has an updated message. Please view your portal to review. So no breach in privacy in terms of the email that was sent. It links you to this case, and then you're able to view the response from the lab. We will come back to this window later, but now for the demonstration, we'll actually move on to submitting cases. So if we want to submit our lab form, and what this essentially replaces is the traditional lab form that would be filled out by yourself or the hygienist and sent with the impression. So if we come to case and submit RX, we're greeted with our RX window, our digital RX. So we've got a few options across the top. We want to submit a new case. We also have the option of submitting a remake. And what would be required then is if we select our remake, we're required to put the invoice number of the case that we didn't meet your clinical needs. For this demonstration, let's stick with a new case. So for our case here, we're going to go first name. We'll say portal demo. Last name can be last. Now, chart number. Chart number is not used by Race Dental. It's simply a field that your clinicians can use to reference back to your practice management software. So if you ever needed to pull some information out of our system, pull some information out of your system and do sort of a matchup, you'd be able to do it there. Sex, again, is not really required. It's just simply for your records and convenience if you would like to keep that information as well. All right, shade. Obviously, this wouldn't be required if it was a splint or something similar. So if it is a product that doesn't need a shade, feel free just to put NA. Otherwise, we can put in our shade. Scanner. Okay, so what this is referring to the method in how we will be sending the case to Race Dental. Now, if we are sending a traditional case, meaning rubber impressions that we are sending to Race, we would select the traditional option here. Now, if you were sending a digital case, meaning on the old 3M TrueDef, 3Shape Trios, Carestream, iTero, Edit, or other, sorry, we also have Serona down here. If you are sending with one of those methods, I would like to make it very clear that we do not require this prescription on the Race Dental customer portal to be filled out. The reason is we only need one prescription. And when you send the scan through the scanning network, it comes with a prescription with that scan. So if we were to complete this and send it through, we're actually receiving two prescriptions, which often results in some conflicting information. So if you're ever to use your scanner, no need to submit your cases through here. We still strongly encourage you to use the portal. There are great other features that we can use it for, but no need to submit your cases. Reserve this for if we were ever taking an impression and sending physical impressions. So in this situation, we're going to go traditional. Our submission date is today, obviously, we're submitting the case today, and our requested return date. Now, what you'll find is the requested return date is some days in the future, and we can't actually set it any earlier than that. Requested return date may not be earlier than this date. The reason is the majority of Race Dental products have a turnaround time of 5 days, and that's lab days. So what this allows us is this just gives us a little bit of room for 1 day transit to the lab, 5 lab days, 1 day back. Now, I'd like to make it very clear that we will always strive to do better than our quoted turnaround times. This is just a restriction to make sure we have at least enough time. Obviously, there are some products where that turnaround time is not the case, such as denture repairs. If that is the situation and you're submitting one of these products, please just leave the requested return date as what it's set to. And we do understand that we need to be doing those same day. Now, in the situation where we have a product such as, let's say, an opalite crown, where we really do actually need this completed in a reduced time frame, that's where we have our rush button here. Now, it says additional charges may apply. Look, we're not going to apply this to every case. We'll look at the situation, and look, we really would like to try to help you out if it's just the odd case or two. All right, so we've selected our requested return date, and the next thing is we need to add our products onto the case. So we hit this big products button here, and now what we've got is we select our RX type. So for this example, we can do a crown and bridge case, and what you'll start to see here is you'll see all of the options that are that match our traditional prescription form. Now, if these are left blank and not indicated, we will simply use the race dental protocols and produce your device in line with what we think is most appropriate with the case. Obviously, we will take preference if these are marked by yourself. Now, if we were to change the RX type, and let's go to a acrylic and chrome, you'll then notice that the RX type changes as well. So the specific types of details that we request from you will be different for each one of these. So please take a moment to familiarize yourself with the different types of RX forms that you will be requiring from Race Dental. And if there's any questions on specific RX types, please don't hesitate to send them through, and we'll do our best to address those. All right, so on our crown and bridge one, let's go. Yep, we will just have normal interproximal contacts with light occlusion. Now what we want to do is we want to be selecting our product. Now, for Race Dental customers that are familiar with our products, we can simply just use our search products, and we can say opalite, and we get all of the opalite products, crown and bridge products that we can then choose from here. If we're not familiar with the Race Dental products, then we can simply use this tree, scroll down, and select our appropriate product from the list. Now, this search feature, if we're in crown, bridge, and implants, if we try to search a product that is not a crown and bridge product, it will not show up, because what we're doing is we're selecting products that will match this RX type here. So if I put splint in, obviously no result. All right. But if I come to, let's say, let's go mouth guards, and I type in guard, oops, sorry. Now these results are starting to show up, where they wouldn't show up before if I typed guard into the crown and bridge section. All right, so we'll come back to crown and bridge, normal, with light occlusion. We're going to select an opalite crown. We're going to go opalite. Okay, so what we can then do is teeth number and quantity. We can leave these blank, because what we can do is we can actually indicate these through the tools that we have here. So single, let's do the 1-3 and the 1-2. And then bridge, we're going to now select the first tooth and the last tooth to create a bridge. All right, and now what this has done is this is now filled out. All right, we're after seven opalite crowns, 2 singles, and a bridge. Last step here, if this is an implant crown, we definitely need the implant hardware platform that is being used. This saves us a lot of time in trying to reverse engineer and work out what has actually been sent to us. Any additional notes? So this would be any comments that you may have that are not already covered by these RX options. Please pop these in here and then save. All right. Lastly, we just need to authorize our case, basically saying doctor, in this case, Portal Workshop, is authorizing this case, and Race Dental can go ahead with making a patient match device for this case and submit. We get a quick little summary of the case, 7 opalite crowns, requested return date, shade, and the address that is going to. Confirm order. All right, now this is very important. Please ensure you print your work order and send it with your impression. All right, so this print work order button, once we click this, what this will do is this will generate your unique code for the case that has been submitted. And this page needs to be printed and then placed with your impression when it gets sent in. Otherwise, we'll receive impressions and we'll have no idea who they're for. All right, now, once we've submitted our cases, now there's nothing to say that we can't go back and submit another 2, 3, 4, 5 cases. We strongly suggest that you submit all the cases for the day. And then once those cases have been booked in, we can come to schedule pickup here, which will take us to the book and pickup window. This is the exact same window as if we had have gone pickup and view pickups from here. Oh, sorry, pickups and schedule pickups. All right, so once we're in this window here, we select our pickup date, which will default to today. Please keep in mind that our cutoff time is 3 p.m. in Sydney. So any pickups that come in after 3 p.m. will be booked on to the next day. Next, we have our closing time. So we can select the time that the practice is going to be closing. This is another new feature that was added probably only 2 or 3 weeks ago. So it just improves the communication. So no longer do you need to put in the comments, clinic closes at 3 p.m. Number of packages and the weight of the package. So let's say we've got 1 package and it's going to be a 3 kilo package. And in comments, you can, I mean, if there are any notes, feel free to put them in. Otherwise, just leave this blank. And then we'll schedule our pickup. The pickup request has been successfully submitted. We'll send confirmation email with your booking reference and instructions shortly. So that will go into our pickup queue, and the pickup will then be made by Race Dental staff, and we'll send you the collection details shortly. One of the things that we're working on, which we're very eager to release, is actually a direct API between our pickup server and Go and Toll Logistics. And what that will mean for our clinicians is once the pickup is made, that booking will go straight into the Toll or Go system, and you'll receive communication and the con notes back pretty much within 15 minutes. So we're working hard on that, and we hope to release that shortly. All right, now coming back to our cases. So let's come back to view cases, and let's have a look at our portal demo last. This is that opalite, 7-unit opalite case that we submitted in this example. As we can see, our status is sitting in submitted, because what that means, that means that the case is still with the clinic. It's been booked in for pickup, and we're just waiting for it to arrive in the lab. Now, after the case is received and it is accepted into production, what we'll then see is this shipment date is it's the date that Race Dental is planning on shipping it. That's when this box will be populated here. Now, if we find that the case has been submitted on the portal, and then we find that there are photos that were taken by the by your staff that we needed to submit to the clinic, we strongly encourage you to no longer send those through the pickups, the photos, images email, and instead to click on our little symbol here and actually upload files. And what that does is that attaches all the relevant photos for this patient into the case. So everyone through our production process can instantly view these photos that are taken and make sure the device is created with relation to the photo supply. So in this situation, we would select photos and attachments, and we would drop the files here. If you ever had other file types, such as maybe cone beam scans, or even if you did your own mock-up or design of how you would like a restoration looking, feel free to upload those here. As soon as an upload comes into our system, we get notified, and we'll get the appropriate team members to review those and make sure we incorporate that into the production process. All right. Now, through this demo, feel free to send a test pick up or even submit a case, we encourage that. We've notified all of our staff to make sure that we don't start manufacturing 100 Opalite crowns from this demonstration. So please, I encourage it. Send as many through as you want through this portal testing account. Finally, we have our messages window. Any messages that get sent to this account through our Magic Touch system will be displayed here. So in terms of sending us messages, please come to cases, view cases, and submit your inquiries about the case. But anything that we send you will also be collected in this messages tab here. So it's just a one-stop shop for all the communication that's received from us to you. Now, finally, we have our accounting tab. Now, I'm actually going to log out of this account just because there's no invoiced cases in here and log into another one. So just give me 2 moments. And this is, well, I suppose this is another really good example of a clinic that has multiple clinicians. Our logins are saved against the in the computer, the admin computer that we're using. Already we've logged out and logged back in with our clinician that we now need to address the other cases with. So in this situation, we come to accounting and then we go, depending on what we're trying to do. So let's go to view statements. All of the statements since September last year will be listed against here. Now in this situation, we can see that the statements are only generated up to February this year. That's simply because there hasn't been any invoices posted against this account and a balance. There's no balance owing against this testing account. So once I've got my statement period that I want to have a look at, we're just going to click into that. And we'll go and generate our statement here. And this is identical to what you would have been receiving through emails from us previously. In our view balances and payments, this is just a summary of the account as it is now. Obviously, we can see that this account doesn't have any balances owing, but where this window starts to really come into play is this, the payments and credits window on the bottom left is a list of any credit or payment that has been posted against this account. So in this situation, we had a few testing invoices in here, which we've now cleared out with credits. So we can see these 2 credits that were posted against this account. This would be the same for your clinics. Maybe there's a race rewards credit that we've posted against your account. You would see that sitting in here as a credit memo. And then once we click on it, we can see all of the invoices that would have been offset by this credit. So it really helps from an accounting reconciliation process as well. All right, then we have make a payment. Now, once your account gets set up, it will take 24 hours for this make a payment redirection to come into play. But once done, once you click that button, it will actually take you to a slightly different website, and that's because we want to navigate to our secure payment processing window. And that's what we've seen here. Simply, there are no invoices here, but if there were, we would have a list of 3, 4, 5 invoices, all with a tick box, and we can click those to nominate which ones to pay. If we ever want to navigate back to our portal, simply top right, we'll take us straight back. All right, and in terms of the core functionality, that just about wraps up what we are currently offering with the Race Dental Customer Portal. In terms of the next 2 major items that we'll be releasing, as I mentioned before, it's the integration of the couriers into the pickups. And the last thing is we will be uploading our outbound tracking details. So when we actually dispatch the cases to your clinic, having those tracking numbers listed against every case in view cases. So that's something that the teams are working hard on, and we look forward to releasing those to you shortly. If there are any questions, please don't hesitate to send them through to portalsupport@racedental.com. I myself and our portal support team, Deborah Brown, and there are a few other members on that team as well. They'll be more than happy to jump on and get you using this exciting tool. If there's no questions that have been sent through for us to address now and have a look. Sorry, let me just see if there's anything here. Actually, okay, yep, that is a good question that's come through. Someone's asked about the, on the login window here. So if we come log out, we actually have this corporate login button down here. Someone's asked what that's used for. So when we set up your account, the corporate login doesn't necessarily refer to the large dental corporates of Bupa, Maven. What this is referring to is when we set up the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dental practices, sorry, the 5 or 6 clinicians under a single practice, what that's referring to is every doctor will have their own account as the account that we have logged in with. Now, when we send a statement to that account, what you'll find is all of those 5, 6, 7, 8 doctors are actually consolidated onto a single statement. Actually, I've still got my testing example here. So in this situation, we've got this login account here, C20919. That's the account that we logged in with. And then we have a second doctor listed here. Now, even though there are 2 doctors' accounts, they're actually only one statement account, which is this one here, B13120. So in this situation, this corporate login allows us to log in as the statement account and actually view the cases of all of our clinicians at the same time. So I'll actually show you a quick example of that as well. So if you would like to use this feature, it can be a little bit confusing. Please reach out to call support and we'll actually run you through your specific example. Because if we try to log into a dentist account through the corporate login, it won't work. And vice versa, if we try to log in with a doctor into corporate login, it won't work either. So when you're using your doctor's login, please ensure that it doesn't say corporate login up here. So in this situation, the corporate login is the billing account number, password in, and we need to go to corporate login. Okay, now you'll notice a few changes straight away. The account that I've logged in with now says B something something something, as opposed to the C code that was before. We can also see that the submit cases and pickups are no longer here, and there's a very good reason for that. We can't submit cases without a doctor. It's not allowed by the TGA. So that's why we're not allowed to submit a case through a billing account. But what we can do is if we go cases and view cases, we can now see all of the cases, regardless of whether it is submitted through the first doctor's account or the second doctor's account. So this is a really useful tool for practice managers who want to see multiple clinicians' cases, or even accountants who want to be able to just download invoices from here, which actually goes really well onto the next point. How do we download invoices from the portal? So once we have an invoiced case here, clicking on this icon will now actually give us this option, print invoice, and that's how we get access to our invoices. Just give that a few moments and there we are. And essentially it would match the invoice that we send out to the practice. All right, any other questions? Someone has asked, this is a good question actually, when submitting a PFM, PFM or a gold crown, how do you select the alloy of the case? So meaning semi-precious or precious. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to log out of this billing account. I'm going to go back to the doctor's account. I'm then going to log in with our account that we were doing portal, that we're doing this demonstration with. Okay, so now we've got our pickups and our submit RX option back. We can come back into here, come back to products. So we're now saying that we're doing a crown and bridge case. We're going to do, let's say, a full gold crown. And we're going to do, let's say, the 1.6. All right. At the moment, we don't have alloys listed as products on the case. But once this comes in, it does actually prompt the race dental staff to select an alloy. So the best way at this stage would be to actually put into the comments saying, precious gold. And that way, once the case comes in, we'll know exactly what alloy to use on the case. All really good questions. All right, and that wraps up the main questions that we had. Again, if there's anything else that you need, please send a message through to portal support, just so everyone can see, portal support@racedental.com.au. Please send your queries through there and we'd be more than happy to get you on there. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day.